Should put like Legolas right here.
He's like so intense.
Yeah, no, don't. Don't, not from there.
No. Oh, I could get him. That was the easiest one to grab.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is I'm watching The Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 2.
Adrift.
Part of it.
Yep.
I like this episode a lot better.
Yeah. It picked up speed for sure.
Well, and it felt more.
Yeah.
The first episode definitely. I mean, every first episode is going to suffer a little bit from like establishing.
Yeah.
But there was a scene and a plot in particular that I can sort of use as an example to explain why I like this so much better. And it is the dwarves.
Yes.
They were amazing.
So
I
fun.
never thought I was going to go this hard in on the dwarves, but it was so cool.
Yeah.
They were so realized. It was very distinct. I love the deco because they did that in The Hobbit and yada yada. But I loved it so much. That shot, getting to see it's Khazad-dûm, getting to see it in its glory, it was stunning.
So cool.
Stunning. I loved it. I loved the way they were using the mirrors and the light. Like the gardening inside on the tiers. It was so cool. But particularly the plot at the center with Durin, Prince Durin the Fourth, and Elrond. Because right in the middle, when you have these high concept, high fantasy ensemble, you can get so bogged down in the lore and so bogged down in the plot and like having to explain everything that's happening that you don't have a moment to just actually enjoy something.
And you can you can lose the like human elements of it. And humanity, I guess.
So to just have this little subplot about friendship and then friendship between different types of people.
Yeah.
It was very satisfying and interesting, and I felt engaged, and I thought that's how episodic television is meant to work.
Yeah. You don't say.
Yes, it's meant to be a piece of a larger picture, but also each individual piece is meant to contain something
of value.
Yeah. I absolutely loved it. And I think both the actors, Elrond and Durin, I'm having a hard time with the names as always. I think that they really nailed it. MVP of the show. I'm calling it now, episode 2.
Princess Disa. Yeah.
She was fantastic.
So good.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love, because we make a big to-do about the elves, about how beautiful the elves are. Understandably so.
Yeah.
They're very classically beautiful. But I think it's a real accomplishment to take the dwarves and have them also register as beautiful. Have them register the coloring. Because she was in like a pewter.
It was really beautiful.
And her hair, the jewelry, giving her those contacts.
Yeah.
Like the actress's face is so expressive. And her proportion, both of their proportions. And I mean, I'm sure they're probably wearing pieces. I think he's wearing a nose.
I
but
think so, yeah.
I was all in. I was so completely all in. And I love that notion that, like, you know, as much as I love the elves and as much as I probably would be an elf, what?
They're kind of dicks.
They're kind of the worst. Like,
well, I loved it too, though, because it's like Elrond is like, I think this might be the first time he's been confronted with this specific thing, where he's like,
and also it seemed to take him a minute.
Yeah.
Not on the up and up.
He did not realize that Durin was mad. Like Durin was
mad.
He
did, but he couldn't figure out why.
He didn't know why. And so it's finally, it's like he literally had to be like, you missed 20 years, which might be nothing to you, but
has that been it?
Yeah. And he was like, I have had a life. I lived an entire life, and you missed all of these milestones in my life. And it seems that they were friends from when Durin was like quite young. So they've been friends.
He said something about 50
years. And so I'm just sort of like, yeah, dude, like you don't age the same as other people. It's interesting.
And I mean, they all give me high on their own supply.
Yes.
Like,
no one is higher on their own supply than fucking Galadriel, if we know one thing.
Yeah, I'm totally open. Like, it's not ruining the show for me, and I'm totally here, and I want to see her next week in the pretty dress and stuff. But this plot, I think, is terrible.
I don't know why. I mean, again, knowing that so much time passes between now and when the Lord of the Rings takes place.
It's like properly thousands.
I believe it's thousands.
This isn't 172.
No, it's like thousands. But I think my issue is that, like, I guess I'm gonna need us to get to a point where, like, this Galadriel can reasonably turn into this, like, serene being that we meet.
But again, there's like a wickedness.
No, I'm aware of that, but, like, that's not what's happening here still.
This
She's
is
like
major cop with a French braid territory.
I was just talking about that earlier with Trevor.
That's a trope we've coined that is catching on like wildfire. You know that, especially with a female character, and they're going for tough, and you know what? It's fine. It's whatever, but
I have pinpointed that it is largely, because it does still happen, but I think it happens mostly with writers and creators who are a holdover from the 90s and 2000s. It's a big 90s and 2000s trope. That's, I think, if you could pinpoint when it was, because we needed strong women, and you can't be strong unless you're acting like a man. And it's just like, that's not true at all.
Or just like aggressive.
Yeah, like too like overly aggressive. And so I've been, because Trevor and I are taking a small break, I started just doing a rewatch of Angel because I've seen it way less than Buffy, and there's a cop character, and I was like, man, this bitch has a French braid, a metaphorical French braid. And so I am getting that energy from Galadriel as well.
And it's fine. It's not like, in spite of me just saying it's terrible, it's not that bad. And on top of that, it is filmed gorgeously.
It's so beautiful. Yeah,
that scene of her fleeing the sea serpent.
Yeah.
Where the camera kept bobbing underwater and then above. Yeah. It was like all very well. And frankly, I mean, I think even the acting is fine. It's the characterization I don't like. Yeah. And I want them to go somewhere with it. And I would love for this to be on purpose.
Yes.
And for us to get like episode 7 and for there to actually witness character growth.
Sure. Yeah.
His name is
Halbrand.
Halbrand. He seems fine as well. There's potential. He's cute. Yeah. Do we know why they don't like the elves?
Is it general racism?
Okay.
But I think
is
it's
it
also
similar to the Southlands?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's where he's from. Is in the Southlands. Okay. I think it's because I think it's like general racism, but then I also think that there is like the elves sort of inserted themselves into this like
because they
human
left.
Society.
Okay. Yeah. I get it.
It's bad on both sides.
I get it.
But also I think because the elves have been there like for generations, so I think it's like a lot of the humans feel they're like under the boot of, you know, something, and the elves are like, hey man, we're just trying to like save you from the things, why are you being so mean to us? And so it's like
it would sort of be like if there was like a hostile takeover of like a whole race of Serena Vanderwoodsons.
Sure.
Not Blake Lively, Serena
Vanderwoods.
They just sort of came in and took over, and we were like, ugh.
This again.
But
I for one welcome our Blake Lively overlords.
But yeah, the storm at sea was comical, and I cannot believe they had the restraint to not have her arms outstretched when she was
like a Christ figure.
When she was but again, filmed beautifully. Him rescuing her and that, all yada yada.
She's not Christ. Frodo is Christ.
Okay.
Also, she basically bullies him into telling her where he's from, because he says his land was destroyed by orcs. We also don't know why these people were in a ship so far out to sea, like where they were going, what they were trying to do. They do immediately, like, first of all, she's a woman drowning in the ocean. She is fucking making tracks, though. She's swimming hard. So she's a woman drowning in the ocean, and these like 6 fucking jabronis on this really rickety raft,
precisely what they were,
are like Well, I guess her stuff's coming out of your rations if we bring her on our rickety raft. And then
they also had a morphling from the quarter quell. I don't know what was happening.
It was so crazy. And so they're just, and then the one guy is like, I see your pointy ears underneath your hair. And then they're all pissed. They make her, or she like falls back in the water. The sea serpents everywhere. It was kind of a mess. And then everybody's dead except for her and Halbrand. The rest of them all got chomped up by the serpent.
I think they land at that city that I haven't learned the name. The Nimmerun.
Oh, it's like Numenor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're called Numenorians. Sure. What they're called. I think that's where they landed.
I think it's Will has told me this one. I think it's Gondor. Yeah.
So over to the Southlanders. So Brownwyn and Arendir.
Yeah. Arendir, yeah.
They were at the town and it was like destroyed and there were holes, like tunnels everywhere.
Like, the orcs have been digging tunnels.
And these orcs were from the big war that we saw in the first one. And is this the same that the orcs are elves or is that the
maybe. I don't know. No, the Uruk-hai are born.
Okay.
Somehow.
I don't remember that. Basically, yeah. So it's like there are orcs tunneling from town to town. Sure, but also, huh?
Well, and also we do get that Theo at the beginning of this episode is like, those darn mice in the floor. I haven't slept in 3 days, and I'm like,
This was a horror film.
First of all, that's too many mice. Second of all, it's actually orcs, which is worse.
It's terrifying. There was a horror film in the end of this episode, and again, I think it was filmed well, very well. Even there was a handful of like stunts that I was like,
yeah.
And then the cut. I really love the cut of her cutting, like going at its head, and then the cut into her slamming the head down on the table. I thought that was really good and effective.
Because all of her fucking townspeople are like, absolutely not. There's no way we're leaving. There's nothing to speak of. Like,
what they lack in sense, they also lack in shirts.
Why is that butcher naked?
I feel like all of them are too naked.
They're a little too naked.
I'll say it.
But it's just, she basically is like, we found these tunnels, we need to leave now, and the guy is like, silence, witch!
And her son, what is the deal with, like, is he pinging you as, like,
Yeah.
Okay. Is it just the sword?
Well, yeah, but he's also friends with that dipshit from the first one that called him knife ears.
Oh, okay. And he's bringing the sword with him, which is a good idea. Although
I think he bled on it, though, which is never good. It bled on him.
Yeah, it pulled his blood and then started reconstituting. Yeah. But you get the sense that that's sort of like the rings where it's like, at any given moment, I don't think he's aware that he's doing some of this stuff.
Sure.
That's sort of what I'm getting from that. And so they're off on a caravan heading somewhere.
Just away from the town.
The Harfoots, I really like Nori and Poppy. I don't have a specific reason. I just enjoy it. I am actually very curious as to what this stranger is.
Me too.
Because it's giving us a near perfect balance of good and bad vibes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not evil, but he's not evil.
He killed all those fireflies.
Owl City, look away.
Yeah, right.
Give us fireflies and a minor key. Put that over the scene. Yeah, that was sad. And but he like doesn't seem like he understood. Like, it wasn't like he was like, I'm gonna take the life force.
No, no, I don't think.
It was a byproduct.
Yeah.
And he's trying to recreate like
constellation.
A star, a constellation of star system or something. And also Nori doesn't fully seem to understand how language works, but that's fine. She's just sort of doing that thing where she's kind of just yelling at him, thinking that if she gets louder, he'll understand.
Yeah.
Oh, and he like broke. Was that her father's ankle?
Her father broke his ankle. I don't think he did it. I think he can see. I think he knew it was going to happen.
Well, he was like scribbling in the wood, and when his like tool broke, the ankle broke.
But I think he can.
I think they're connected. I don't think he saw that. I think it was connected.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's weird. We did gloss over twice now what Elrond's actually doing.
Oh yeah,
is the Gil-galad. Yeah, Gil-galad sent him to Celebrimbor, which I know that name from YouTube videos that I watched. And I think he makes the rings, and so I think that's what the forge is.
He also is a descendant of, I think his name is Feanor, and he's the one who created the Silmarils, which were the, like, stones that were in Morgoth's crown.
Mm.
One of them...
So is that what the dwarves have?
It's the Arkenstone.
What's that?
From the Hobbit movies.
Oh.
It's the thing that, like, Thorin is looking for, and Smaug has it, and he's, like, hoarding it. It's just shiny and beautiful, and they really approached it like it was Ving Rhames' briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
I wrote Pulp Fiction.
Okay, thank you.
So the elves need whatever it is that the dwarves have?
They just need manpower, because they have to build this tower forge thing. And so they need people to help them build it, or else it won't be finished, like, in time. Yeah.
I think the dwarves might be able to do that, if I get one thing from them.
Yeah, but then, so Durin's father is like, well, it's a very, like, I don't know what you think you don't know. Do you know what I think you don't know? And it's just like, whatever.
They don't know, we know they know, we know.
Exactly. Like, Elrond doesn't know anything about this stone, and Durin's father is convinced he does, and Durin is like, you give the elves too much credit. He's a fucking idiot.
He's also, Elrond's apparently a half-elf.
No.
Okay, something I read said half-elf.
No, Elrond is a full elf.
Okay.
I mean, Aragorn is a half-elf.
Gil-galad sends the half-elf Elrond to assist the great elven smith Celebrimbor.
I don't think that's true.
I didn't either.
Oh, half-elven. What does that even mean? Elf, and then it says elf and half-elf. This says half-elf chosen to be immortal. Chose to be immortal. I don't know what the hell that means. So
I think Tolkien might have had too much time on his hands.
That is accurate.
I'll say it.
Like a lot.
Say what you mean. Pick one.
Line of the half-elven. There's like a whole thing. Oh, shit.
So then is Aragorn quarter elf?
I have no idea.
What percentage Vila is he?
Aragorn? Okay, I did not know that half-elf was even like a thing, so I haven't a clue.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, when it becomes important, we'll figure out. Yeah, I mean, all in all, in spite of some of like the jokes we made in criticism, I'm actually kind of having a blast.
No, I think it's great.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
It looks incredible.
That's 43% of it easily for me. I will watch some beautiful garbage. And I don't think it is. I'm enjoying it. I wish that it was a little bit more, and of course we're sitting here in fucking Central Florida, but I wish it was a little bit more fall winter. It just, Lord of the Rings feels like we do our marathon in November every year.
Yeah. And it's still too hot.
It's very Pavlovian for me.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm in, and it's absolutely giving me the glamour factor that I desire from fantasy that so few fantasy things give me.
It is beautiful.
And so Team Dwarves.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Big thumbs up. Love it. Oh, he planted that tree that Elrond gave him. It's very beautiful. It's so cute. I just like it.
And it's growing because there's so much love in that mountain.
Dude, let it happen. Why is that where you're drawing the line?
Because it's nonsense.
It's magic!
Then turn the lights off. It'll get stronger. They'll love even harder. Okay, bye!
Right. Bye!